start. I think they're up 9 there after the first 5 minutes, and then our defense really slipped from there. And we just got to figure things out. Just like every team is going through. You get to February, and you're dealing with guys that are trying to be healthy and be ready to play in the games, and it really affects your practice time. And then you get slippage, so it's just a tough dynamic. Trying to stay sharp and trying to stay solid with your habits, and that's where you got to really lean on veterans. We have an older team, and that's what I was disappointed in. Just coming off a loss in Champaign on Sunday, whether we won or lost, I just expected, especially in that first half, a little bit different energy and grit to our defense, because that's what's, we have to play well on the defensive end of the floor, because right now, we're not going to be a team that's going to score 85, 90, 95 points in a game. We're going to work hard to get into the 70s, and we got to keep teams in the 60s. And when teams are constantly 80 plus, that's going to be really hard for us. So we got to tighten up our defense. We got to figure things out. Obviously, there's no quit in our group. We're going to keep fighting. That's how we do things here. You fight as long as you can. As long as there's another game, and there's another game Saturday. And just disappointed tonight that we weren't able to get the job done. That being said, Rutgers deserves a lot of credit. Pike had his team really ready to play. Obviously Bailey is one of the better talents in the conference, and when he gets going, he's really hard to stop.
Matt, talk about your disappointment, your standards for this team, being the NCAA tournament. After this loss, do you still see a path forward for this team?
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about the tournament now. We have 10 more games. Right now it's, like we even talked about tonight, you just win the next game. You just win the next game. You can talk about you don't even talk about the tournament. If we were 7-3, I wouldn't be talking about the tournament. We're 3-7. So that doesn't even come into play when you're at the halfway point of the season. There's so much basketball. The goal is to win. Like our whole focus after we lost in Champaign was try to win. We needed to win against Rutgers. We needed to go 1-0, and that's going to be the theme again. Like we need to try to find a way to beat Wisconsin on Saturday afternoon, which won't be easy because obviously they're a terrific team. So like we're not and just like last year or years where we were at 7-3 or 7-4 or 6-4, we weren't talking about the tournament when we were winning too. So it's you stay in the present and you focus on the next game. That's all we can do.
Coach Jalen Leach with a team high 23 points. Seems like he's really starting to find his form recently, especially on his shooting. What are you seeing out of him both today and in recent performances?
Yeah, his aggressiveness, has really been good. He had the Michigan game too. He didn't play the last 10 minutes. I think he had about 20 in that game. So, he's finding his way at this level. It was an adjustment for him early in the year, but really proud of how he's kind of navigating, the defenses that are thrown at him, the athletes. He has a lot of talent. He can really shoot the ball. He's got good size. He can get to the basket. And it's been good to see him improve, and obviously we need his scoring in a big way. So, and he's been delivering for us.
Coach, you talked about the defensive intensity, but also in the second half there was that 5.5-minute scoring drought after you guys cut it to 3.
Yeah.
What do you think happened there, and how do you think you guys?
Yeah, during that stretch, honestly, I thought we had some tough breaks. During I think Brooks had that one where didn't he get 2 or 3 steals or rebounds and missed some layups, and I thought Nick had a couple floaters, that were kind of in and out. Ty had a 3 from the top of the key. We ran a nice play in and out there. We had some wasted possessions, obviously with some tough shots and a couple careless turnovers, but really I just thought we were but that's what we just said, just keep getting stops. We got to keep playing defense, but yeah, that was definitely critical at 45-42 there. We had some possessions to get the game tied, even maybe get the lead, and who knows how the game changes if you can do that. So yeah, I thought we had some misfortune on a couple shots we normally make during that stretch, but like you said, when you're doing that, you gotta get to the free throw line or find a way to get a layup or an offensive rebound, and we weren't able to do that during that stretch.
Audrey?
Coach, you talked a little bit about defensive struggles. Ace Bailey had 37 points.
Yeah,
Is there anything specific you attribute that to?
Well, if he gets going, he's really hard to stop because he's 6'10" and he can shoot over top of you, like you saw. And, you know, really, we were trying to make him put the ball on the floor. That's where I was disappointed. He got a number in the first half where he just caught it and just jabbed and just shot in our face. In the second half, we did a better job of getting him, and I think he was 4 for 10 in the second half. In the first half, he was getting to his sweet spots. He was jabbing us. He was shooting in our face, and that was not the game plan. Now, give him credit. He's really talented, and obviously our guys haven't seen a guy at that size with that skill set. So give him credit for making those shots and really putting the team on his back offensively. But I thought we had some lapses in our coverage of how we wanted to guard him. I mean, he's going to score no matter what. We just wanted him to shoot more twos, you know, and get him off the pull-up jump. Kind of what he was doing in the second half, more pull-up jump shots. We fouled him a couple times, but we did start getting him to miss. He took a couple shots that were out of his rhythm, and that's what we were trying to do the whole game, but we did not do that in the first half at all.
Coach, it's now been about a 6 or 7 game stretch where Brooks is shooting about 35% on the floor.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to, and how do you get him back to those early season highs?
Yeah, health. You know, health. I mean, Brooks is. I mean, he's given everything he can, but I mean, he's battered. You know, and I got so much respect. You know, for everything he does just to get out on the floor with his teammates. I mean, you saw he had a tough fall the other night on a dunk and kind of banged up his wrist a little bit. He banged up his face. He's been dealing with a foot injury, you know, all summer, all season. That is never going to be 100%. But he just battles through it and he doesn't make excuses. But I think what happens, like you can see, like some of when it comes to some of the lift on his shot or the quick twitch explosiveness to kind of get by guys. You know, it's not quite there, but he's still trying to find a way, and he did find a way in some of those games. Obviously, had a huge game against Indiana, played a big game against Maryland, and we got to keep helping him. You know, find a way to get, because we need his production, obviously scoring. We just don't have a lot of firepower. So, you know, if we've been getting great production from Nick, obviously Jalen has really stepped it up. Ty has had a better stretch where he's been in double figures. And we need to try to help Brooks, you know, get him into areas where he can get fouled, get some easier looks, you know, for him.
Time for a couple more questions.
Yeah, you already kind of covered what I was going to ask about Ace Bailey and how to defend him, but you know, just the NBA hype that surrounds him. I mean,
Do what?
the NBA hype that surrounds him.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's good.
yeah. I mean, just what do you think?
He's an NBA player. I mean, he's 6'10", and he's got an electric shooting range. I mean, you saw. I mean, you give him any kind of space. I mean, he's a really tough shot maker too. I mean, he can shoot with guys in his face. He can drive the ball. He's long. What I really like about him too is he plays hard. You know, when you watch film, he has a motor. You know, he plays hard every night for a young kid. Sometimes, I mean, especially one that's been hyped the way he has, to play with that kind of motor and play that hard. Even in games when he struggled, you know, I mean, he came off a game, I think his last game he was 4 for 19, you know, against Michigan State in the Garden, but he just keeps playing, he keeps competing, you know, he's got an amazingly bright future. There's just not many guys at 6'10" like that have that kind of skill set to be able to shoot the ball, put it on the floor, and the athleticism that he has.
Last question, Ethan.
Coach, both Jordan Clayton and Blake Barkley rolled out tonight. Can you just comment on their status for this game and going forward?
Yeah, no, they we got hit pretty hard with whatever's going around with the stomach bug, and there were others, you know, during the week. They just got hit today, so it kind of ran through our locker room a little bit when we got back from Champaign. We had multiple players, multiple coaches that missed Monday, and we're kind of back yesterday, but still, you know, dehydrated from not having eaten, and so I give our guys a lot of credit for battling. But everyone's going. That's not an excuse. You're just asking, you know, what. And this morning we found out that it kind of had hit those two guys. So, and you know, we just didn't want them to be around others to try to keep as many people as we could healthy. You know, because we're in a stretch now with a lot of games. We want to try to avoid sickness as much as possible. So it's just sickness, and hopefully they'll be back with us on Saturday.
All right, that wraps up. Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.